Greetings, magical souls. I hope everybody's doing well out there. These energies have certainly been interesting. I've decided to do a little workshop today, and I do hope you enjoy it. I was wanting to get this out last year, but I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to deliver it. But I'm really being called to now share it, and it is to do with the water. So what I have created is a little half an hour workshop, which is showing you the basics of how I create all my crystal elixirs. These being my aura sprays, my chakra sprays. It's a very basic way just to show everybody out there with things that you have in your home, how you can make a crystal elixir. The reason behind this is that I feel that there is a focus on the water. Now, the water is all linked on our planet, and that means the water within us and the water that is on the planet. But all of the water is linked. And I feel that we are approaching the times where we can perhaps help our bodies and, of course, our animals' bodies as we continue to get these upgrades, these light codes coming in from the sun, and all the beautiful things that are happening on the planet right now. I know some days I feel it more than other days, and it would just be nice if we could help the physical and the energy body just to deal with these upgrades, but also upgrade the water on the planet. So there's something bigger here. It's almost like as we work with our bodies and the water in our bodies, but also working with the water out there, because of course we know that the water in our bodies is connected with the water on Gaia. I would very much like it if you know, whether you wanted to pop me an email or after you've done the workshop to come back and leave a comment and maybe share with me and the viewers whether you did anything different or what you noticed. It would really, really, really be nice if you felt like sharing. So there's just a few things before the workshop starts. So what I decided to do is I was going to do it as a mini course on my website, but some people may not want to create an account on my website. So I wasn't quite sure how to do it. And last night I was sitting in meditation and it just came in, well, just do it on YouTube. So that's what this really is. And what I've done is in the description box, I have put links to the PDF that I've created, which is just the basic summary of the procedure, so that once you've watched the video, however many times you need to, you've got all the notes with you. I then also created a PDF that you can use for the grids, so that maybe you don't have to go and search all over the internet for them. And I've also created little coasters which have light codes in them and frequencies and sacred geometry and other symbols, which you can use as a coaster to keep your water on, or even stick onto your bottles once you've made them. The other thing that I've also been called to create is a soundtrack that you can play while you are infusing your water. The reason for this is that we really want to infuse the water with certain frequencies, and you can find loads of these on YouTube and places like that. But if you're not sure of what you're getting, because sometimes on YouTube I feel that the frequencies aren't always what they say they are. So if you would like a soundtrack that you know has got tuning forks in it, singing bowls, proper frequencies, high vibrational sound, you're welcome to download that little music file as well and play that. Of course, you can do your own singing and your own chanting and speak your own words to the water. I really encourage you in this workshop to get creative and to get playful. Maybe invite your inner child to join you before you start making your own high vibrational water. The other thing that's worth mentioning is your intention. Your intention is everything. And so setting your intention before you enter the space, and then while you're working with the water, just thinking about what it is that you want to create. Is there something specific? Is there a specific condition that you want to alleviate in your body? Maybe you've really been struggling with joint pain or headaches or nausea, or there is something in particular that your body is not coping with at the moment, or your animal's body. Those are the kinds of things that you need to just be thinking about before you go into creating your water. Your intention is incredibly powerful, and as we know, we are all master creators. So your intention is everything. It is absolutely everything. So I just wanted to mention that and really, really emphasize it. Intention, intention, intention. The other thing is the creating of sacred space before you go in. This is very simple. It can take you 5 minutes to create a sacred space. So you may just be in your kitchen doing this water for argument's sake. All that creating a sacred space is calling in your teams of light, calling in your higher self, whoever else you want to be with you, asking a favorite archangel to protect your space, if that's what you wish to do, clearing your space with some kind of Palo Santo or sage, incense, sound, anything like that, and just then inviting in any of the elementals that want to be with you, any of your guides that can help you with healing. It's just really protecting the space, clearing the space, and then, of course, just taking a few moments to connect with your breath, to connect with your heart, and to set your intentions for the session. That's really what creating sacred space is. So it's just when you go in there, you're nicely focused, you're clear of mind, you've got everything sort of really, really sharp about what you want to do, but you've protected your space and you've cleansed your space, because then, of course, you can have the highest outcome. This is a very, very quick way to infuse water, and you can do it and just leave it there for 10 minutes while it absorbs. It really doesn't matter. Your intention's quite important, as I'm going to stress several times in this video. But what you can do for extra oomph is leave it out for 24 hours so it can gather all the energies of the moonlight and the sunlight. The sunlight in particular is really, really good for energizing. And the moonlight, of course, is, well, it's divine because it really infuses the water with those very, very soft feminine energies. The next thing is using these elixirs. So obviously, first and foremost, you can ingest them. So you can add a couple of drops into your water bottle and sip it throughout the day. You can have it neat if you like, but you can use it in your tea. You can use it in your drinks. You can use it however you want to use it. You can put it in over your animal's food, a few drops in your animal's food, put some drops in their drinking water, whatever it be that calls to you, whatever you are guided to do, and how much. It's just water. It doesn't matter whether it's diluted or it's neat. It doesn't really matter. When you dilute it into something, just know that the rest of the water will then match that high frequency, and the structure of all the molecules in that glass of water or beaker of water, flask of water, bowl of water, whatever it is that you've put those drops into. I just like to use 7 drops. There's something about the number 7. I always do 7 drops. So all you have to do is do 7 drops in, and the rest of the water molecules therein will then match the frequency, and the structure of the water will change throughout. So that's really how this works. Water is intelligent. Water holds consciousness. So the first thing is, as I mentioned, is the ingestion of it, taking it into the physical body. The other thing you can do is you can add some to your bath water. So this is a beautiful way of doing it, because the skin is the biggest organ of the body, and you can allow it in much the same way as some people might cleanse themselves, cleanse their energy bodies and their physical bodies in the shower or bath. you're doing the same thing in the shower or bath. So you can actually pour some of this water into your bath in the evenings and bath in it with candles and whatever, and really, really feel it clearing through your energy body and being absorbed through the skin into your physical body. If you don't have a bath and you'd like to shower, what I normally do is just before I get out of the shower, I pour some of this water around me, and then instead of it wiping it off with a towel, I try and allow it to dry on most of my body, just to just dry by itself. So it's actually just all the water droplets eventually get absorbed into the skin. So that's the other way you can do it. You can also, I mean, if you're washing your hair, just pour it over your crown chakra afterwards and just feel it just really, really, really cleansing through your body. And of course, the beauty of doing it in the bath and in the shower is it's then going down the drain afterwards, and it's affecting all the water in all the water systems on our planet. And some of these water systems, whether they go into sewage or other places, a lot of them end up back out in the ocean. So what we're doing is all that high frequency water is going into the water systems. Something really, really, really important about this. Of course, the other ways you can do it, as we did in the global healing that I did last year that didn't record, is that if you live near any bodies of water, or when you next go to the beach or anything like that, you can take some of this water that you've created and pour it into any bodies of water. You can also pour it into Gaia, intentionally asking the dragons or the elementals, the guardians of the earth, to take it down into her heart. So everything is done with intention. When you're sitting in the bath, when you're in the shower, you are intentionally working with this water that you've created, thereby amplifying its power. The last thing that I'd like to mention is why I've chosen selenite and clear quartz to work with for the purposes of this water creation. You can, of course, add any other crystals that you like to this. I was guided to use selenite and clear quartz. One of the reasons for this is obviously the qualities that they can give to the water, but also a lot of us actually have selenite and clear quartz in our home. They are two of the most common crystals found. You know, it's nothing like rare, and maybe you can only get it in some countries and that kind of thing. But that being said, add any crystals that you are called to your elixirs. The reason I wanted to do this workshop is so that each and every one of you can make it your own and add your own energy to it, your own soul signature, and your own intentions and what you want to manifest for yourself, your animals, for humanity, for Gaia, for everything, for the universe. And so now just getting on to the qualities. So selenite, of course, is a very, very high vibrational stone, and it clears both the physical and the energetic bodies. A lot of people who are energy workers know that we often work with selenite, want to clear the aura. So that speaks volumes. And it also allows us to then have our energy bodies clear to receive all these upgrades, but also by clearing the density from the energy body, it allows us to release any old energy that we can get rid of. So that's the selenite. And then obviously the clear quartz is known as the grandmother of the crystal kingdom. It's a stone that's really, really often overlooked. People think, oh, it's just clear quartz. It's one of the most potent crystals we have because it amplifies everything. It is such a beautiful stone. And what the clear quartz can do is it can help the nervous system and the nervous system in the body. And the nervous system is often something that gets quite fried with these upgrades. That's really, really, really beneficial. And it also expands all of the layers in the auric field. It removes any excess heat, stagnancy, congestion, or light that's not needed from the body. So it balances absolutely everything. It really is a beautiful stone to work with. But whatever you are called to use, I encourage you to use. So the last thing on this is that I'm obviously not charging for it. And I just thought what I would do is I would put a link to my donations page also in the description box. If you are in a position to, and you do feel like donating something, it would be most welcome. But most importantly, I would just like you to share with me how you've used it and if you found anything beneficial and if there's anything that you are noticing, and also to share it with anybody else that you think might benefit from it. So I do hope you enjoy it, and I thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Make this a fun, magical creation, working with this water. It's really just quite beautiful, and I love working with water. If we just, if we just spoke to it and thought about it every time we took a sip, it would really be quite different. It's the same as sort of blessing your food before you eat it and that kind of thing. It's just becoming conscious. So I feel like getting this out is going to just help us all, and it's going to help all the animals. It's going to help Gaia. It's going to have a ripple effect everywhere. So thank you so much for watching, and wishing you all a magical day, and wishing you all an absolutely delightful time, magically creating beautiful waters with your inner child. So I'm really going to be very basic about this, and for the purposes of this demonstration, I have chosen all items out of my kitchen. So I have a normal glass of water, and then what I have is like a plain clear glass Pyrex dish type thing. As long as it's glass, it doesn't matter. I obviously have clear quartz infused beakers that I use to create all my elixirs, but not many of you are going to have those. So I've specifically chosen things around the home that people can do this with. We have, you need just a glass of water. In here, I've got filtered water out of my filter in my home. You can use spring water. You can use filtered water, bottled water, whatever it is. And if you don't have any of those, you can, of course, also use tap water, because what we're going to do, of course, is change the structure of this water. So it can even be tap water if that's all you've got. Okay, so just first getting set up. The first thing that I do is I work with a grid. Now, I have lots of these kinds of cutout grids in various sacred geometry shapes. A lot of you might not have those. So what I'm going to use today is a simple Metatron's cube printed out on a piece of paper, because anybody can do this. So we obviously have the cube facing right way, which is the one point at the top and the bottom. So just place that down. And then what I like to do is, this is optional, but I always have candles. Okay, I like to add the fire element to it. It just gives it a little bit of extra oomph, but totally optional. Candles are not necessary. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my plain glass container. I'm going to plop it down in the center of this grid. And really, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it looks like, how high it is, how flat it is. It really doesn't matter. And I'm going to pop my glass of water in. Now, of course, the reason why we are going to be using this is called an indirect method. And the reason why we're going to be using this is because if you take your selenite and you put it in water, you're going to come back tomorrow morning, it's going to be dissolved and gone. Selenite is water soluble, so you never ever leave your selenite out in water, and you never cleanse it in water. So this is why we are using the indirect method. Now, we've obviously got our glass here. Now, if you're just using clear quartz, you could easily take a piece of clear quartz and drop it into the water. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to keep it outside the water. The reason why I want to do that, and it's what I always do with anything that we may ingest, so take physically into the body, is sometimes we don't know, like I've got this piece of plain clear quartz here. This is a piece of plain clear quartz. But sometimes if they have come out the earth, they might have traces of other crystals in them that are actually almost poisonous to the body. So I always err on the side of caution, even if I know, I mean, I can see that's pretty much a clear quartz. I can see there's nothing in it. It's very, very clear. But when I'm making my chakra sprays and that, I will put all sorts of manner of crystals into the water because that is not something that's going to be taken internally. So of course, if you are going to just use this in your bath water and if you're going to do all sorts of manner of things with your water and not actually ingest it into your body, then feel free to dump your clear quartzes into the actual water. I just wanted to explain the difference between direct infusion, which is putting the crystals into the water, and the indirect infusion, which is where you just have them around the water. And that's why we have the water separated from the vessel that we are going to put our stones into. So all that would really happen now is I've got a whole lot of clear quartz. I've got my little selenite bits. All I'm going to do is I'm going to just place all of these into around the glass, the glass of water. I've obviously got loads of crystals. If you've only got 2, that's enough. Okay. And now we're good to go. That's literally it. As long as your crystals are touching the glass, that's all that needs to happen. And that's why it has to be glass and not plastic. It has to be glass. Right. So now we're pretty much set up. And what I'm going to do is I always like to just actually activate this grid. So for anybody that's worked with crystal grids before, what you do is you can put stones into the stones around, and then what you do is you connect them. Often what we do is we'll have a crystal in the center of a grid. We don't need to, but we'll have a crystal in the center of the grid. So what I'm really doing here is my water is becoming the center of the grid. My water is becoming the part in the middle that we are going to infuse all these energies into this water. So what I've got here is I've just got 6 plain clear quartz tumbled stones. Clear quartz works really well because it is a stone that amplifies. We'll pop them in Metatron's cube. I have a selenite wand here, and I also have a clear quartz point. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to join. So with intention, you just set the intention to just join them all. And then I'm going to just join all of these clear quartz just into the water, just with intention, just intending to just connect all these clear quartz. And then I normally just go around in a clockwise direction, just almost creating this energy. The stones are now all linked. Okay. Now, if you don't have a wand, you can also use 2 fingers and you just connect them like so, again with intention. And you would do exactly the same thing. Okay, this is called a power finger, and just with intention. Right. So as mentioned, I like to use the candles, and what I normally do is, because I want this fire energy, I want a little bit of oomph. You can see I'm placing the points facing inwards because I want this fire energy to go in towards the bowls. So just in front of each candle now, I'm going to just pop in a clear quartz. And I'm now going to light my candles. And try not to set my hair on fire like I did in the last live Patreon reading. That was hilarious. Okay, so we've pretty much got everything set up here. 4 candles are going. You've connected the grid. You've got all your crystals here. And now you can just sit with the water and you can just send any intentions to your water, and you can do this mentally or out loud. So you might just want to say words. So you could go love, peace, harmony, good health, balance, whatever it is, you can say to the water and speak the words with intention. So feel the love. You could sit here and you could chant. You could go, everything that you do now here in the space, all of your intention, all of your energy, any sounds, anything like that is now going to be infused into this water. And this is why creating the sacred space before is so important, as I alluded to earlier, where you would just center yourself, take a couple of deep breaths, ground yourself, and just make sure your mind is as clear as it can be. While you are sitting in this space, if you have any singing bowls, you can play these to your water. All of this kind of thing now happens. So this is the space now. Now that you have your water set up, everything that is happening now is going into the water. And then I've got a 5 to 8 hertz fork, which is the miracle tone. This heals DNA. It is known as the love frequency. And you can just do that however you're guided to, if you have any of these tools on hand. This is the reason why I've created the music that you can play for this, because not everybody has the tuning forks, and it's infused with 5 to 8 crystal frequencies and many other things. And you could even, I mean, if you've got a voice and you like to sing, you could even sing a really happy song. I mean, maybe you sing, something like love makes the world go round, but you sing it or you chant it. You can do literally anything in the space that you are called to do. But your water is now set up. Your intention is there. You've set up your sacred space. You've activated the grid, and now you do it. Once I am done with infusing whatever it is that I want to put in here, now I'll blow out my candles. And then what I will do is now that we've done this, I will probably leave it sitting here for a couple of hours. And I've obviously set this up on my desk. So if you want to leave this for a little while, set it up somewhere where you can leave it. So don't do it on your dining room table and then in an hour's time, you're going to need to eat dinner. Try and set it up somewhere where you don't have to disturb the grid. Okay. But this only needs to be left for, even 30 minutes is enough. If you've got 10 minutes, it's enough. Your intention is everything. So what I would then do is I would leave the setup for as long as I could leave it here. It might even be the rest of the day. And then at night, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my water out of the grid. And this would obviously all just get packed away. And then I would take this whole thing together, and I go and find a windowsill or somewhere in my home where I've got moonlight coming through, and this stays just like this overnight, just exactly like this, nothing else. So cleared all of this away, and this is the only thing that then gets left overnight. and then hopefully the rays of the sun the next morning catch it. And pretty much I will leave this water out for just overnight. So it gets the moonlight, and then maybe the following day till at least midday, so it's getting sunlight. And remember, even if it's overcast, it doesn't matter. It's still getting the energy of the sun. And once we've done that, your glass of water is ready. And it really is as simple as that. What I did want to just show you, if you had anything else, if anybody's got any of these orgonite devices, as we call them. So it's basically crystals and metals that are infused in a resin. I've got one here with the flower of life in it. So if you had something like that, you didn't want to use a grid, you could simply pop that on and then pop all your crystals around the glass in exactly the same way as you did with your other utensil. Then you wouldn't need the glass vessel at the bottom. So this is just another way of doing it. You could do something simple like that. And just place as many as you can, as long as they're touching the glass. And then you would do exactly the same thing. So you would set up your candles around it if you wanted to set up your candles, because this sacred geometry, this flower of life that is on this orgonite coaster, is now replacing this Metatron's cube. So this is the grid. So I might still do it if I wanted to do it. I would put all my points facing inwards. But if you don't have the points, it's okay. You can still just place these round here. And as I say, the candles are even optional. But this is just another way that you can do it. And then the final way I want to show you is, so if you have a selenite plate, so this selenite plate is in that shape and it's got Metatron's cube on it. This is a plain square selenite plate. You get them in rounds, you get them in little bowls. So if you have a selenite plate, that is another option. Pop it, because then that is your selenite. Then you don't need to place these round. It is on a selenite plate, and all you have to do is place your clear quartz now around your glass. Okay? And then what you could do with that is, if you wanted to, you could still place that on the grid. So you could just pop that into the middle of Metatron's cube, but now your selenite is actually underneath your water. So that is another option. And then the last option that I wanted to show you, you don't have all of these little crystals around. What you can also do, if you've got a big piece of clear quartz, that maybe will work. So what you can do is, just want to see, there's a way that I can do this because I've done it before. But if you've got something that's a flat surface, as long as you know that it's not going to, it's obviously a little bit of an angle, but it's okay, it's stable. And then this is clear quartz. So maybe what I want to do is I now want to place some selenite around my, I can even place some selenite at the bottom if that's what I've got, because the crystal, as long as everything is touching everything else, it's all connected. So this is just another option of what you could do. You can actually stick it, if you've got a big piece of selenite, maybe you've got a nice big chunk of selenite, in exactly the same way as you popped it on your selenite plate. This is a clear quartz raw piece of crystal, but it happens to have a flat edge that I can put this on. So that's just another option. So get creative. Use the things that you have in your home, and just get creative. And of course, you can use any kind of sacred geometry that calls to you. You could have a flower of life, like what we've got on here. You could have something like that. You could even have other symbols. Maybe you do Reiki and you want to use a Choku-rei. If you've done Karuna Ki Reiki, you might want to use the Zonar, which is for deep cellular healing, and things like that. So if you've got a particular ailment in your body, you may be wanting to make this water particularly to help you deal with all your, what they call ascension symptoms. So And you might even find that if you want to give it to your animal in their drinking water and that you can use various, if you are familiar with Reiki and all the forms of Reiki, you can even use the symbols, and you can even create your own little grid where you could do something like Metatron's cube, and you could draw in the symbols. All those symbols get infused into the water. Anything that is touching this water and is underneath is getting infused into this water. So, and your intention is everything. And that's really the long and short of how you make a crystal elixir using the indirect method. So the indirect method, once again, just to clarify, is when we do not put any crystals into the water. The other thing that I wanted to add is I have obviously done this with clear quartz and selenite because of the qualities of these crystals. But if you want to add in amethyst, if you want to add in rose quartz, if you want to add in any other crystals that you've got in your home that call to you, please go wild. You know, you can get your bowl that you've got your water in, if that's what you're using. And all you would do is you would just add in your amethyst, add in your rose quartz. Maybe you've got some angelites that you want to put in. Let's see what else I've got here. Maybe you want some grounding energies, or put in a tiger's eye. Maybe you want to put in a piece of lepidolite. Whatever it is that calls to you, just put it in. Just put it in. It's all touching. It's all getting infused. And the beauty of using this indirect method where nothing's going inside is you don't have to worry about which crystals are water soluble and are not. So you can literally chuck anything in here that you want, any crystal that calls to you. I mean, I've got, you know, I might, for example, I mean, I've even got my bracelets on. So that's another thing. Like I've got a turquoise bracelet here, but maybe I don't have any pieces of turquoise. And pop your, you know, I mean, even put it round the base of the glass, and then pop that in there. So as I say, get creative with whatever you've got around you. Maybe you've got a wand, maybe you've got a necklace, a pendant. You might even have a pendulum that you can pop in. So just get creative. I've got a little piece of clear quartz here on my necklace. If that's the only piece of clear quartz you've got, pop it in the bowl with your water. It really just it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's the crystal. And the other thing I just wanted to say is, for those of you who would like to do this, and perhaps you do not have any crystals in the house, you can simply do exactly what we've done today. And so you then obviously wouldn't need your second vessel. You would simply take your glass of water, put it on Metatron's cube, or whatever sacred geometry you've printed off, whatever is called to you. And you could set up your candles. You could light your candles and allow the sacred geometry of here to infuse. You could even have written words on here: love, balance, peace, harmony, whatever it is. You can even tape words to the glass of water. So if you don't have crystals, but you're interested in doing this, you can pretty much use any sacred geometry symbol on here. And it will, the frequency of these symbols infuses into the water. So if you've printed off, say, the flower of life or the seed of life, it infuses into the water. Remember, everything is energy, and everything is about your intention. So this can also be done if you do not have any crystals around you, but you would like to create some water for your animals or for yourself. So that now concludes the demonstration. Thank you so much.